without hyperbole, the slowest buses in the country, 8 miles an hour. We could have this interview walking alongside it and still get there before the bus.
Go back where you came from.
I don't believe in communism. And that's what's coming to Staten Island.
America, the mayor of New York City, promised free buses. He rode the BX-10. He pitched it. He pointed out a specific city, Kansas City, Missouri, and said, look, they did it. Free buses. It works. We can do it too. New York can do it too. Kansas City just brought their fares back this month. The program went broke. It flopped, cost nearly double. The buses turned into what riders themselves called rolling homeless shelters. And New York City, right now, as of today, the bus system is cracking down on fare enforcement. We're talking about officers, cameras. You pay $2.90 or you get ticketed. So what happened to free Zohran Mamdani, and who ended up holding the bill?
At the heart of our campaign was a commitment to make the slowest buses in America fast and to make them free. And that will continue to animate our work. It will continue to be one of the central commitments of our administration.
What is up, guys? Tyson DeLaCruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Real quick, before we get into it, hitting that like button, get this, it is free. Hitting that subscribe button, it is free. Dropping a comment, it is also free. And here's the difference between me and the mayor of New York City, Zohran Mamdani. When I say that it's free, it's actually free. So if you're getting something out of this, knock out all three right now. It is free. It takes 2 seconds and it literally costs nothing. And it helps us fight against the dreaded YouTube algorithm. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Let me start with what the man actually said. Zohran Mamdani ran for mayor in New York City, and he made a big, clear, simple promise to everybody. He said, free buses, no fare. Just get on. Everybody rides. He said it would cost between $600 and $800 million. That was his number. And he had a model, one city that he kept pointing to over and over again in his speeches, in his interviews. He said, Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City, Missouri was the first city in America to go fare free. And he called it an absolute success, and he used it as a trail to follow them. And he was still pointing to this recently this year in 2026. Here is what Kansas City's own transit chief said this week. And I'm going to put the article on the screen, so go ahead and pop that up so you can follow along with me. This is from a New York Post. So this is New York Post headline. The city that inspired Mamdani's free New York City bus plan is bringing back their fees, baby, after it ran out of money. It ran out of money. Kansas City, Missouri brought back its fare fees this month after operating costs ballooned to about $15 million a year. Nearly doubled the expected price tag here. Doubled. They planned for $8.8 million. They spent $15 million. Every year, the gap just kept growing and growing. And when the federal C-19 money that was covering that gap ran dry and ran out, you get this. You wouldn't believe it, guys. The program's over. Pop up the National Desk article here. It says, as we ran out of money and support, we are forced to make more service cuts and move to fares to support those services. More service cuts, and they're still charging fees. They cut buses and made people pay for worse buses. So you're probably asking yourself, Tyson, what did those buses look like when the money dried up? The riders actually told us. Pop up the New York Post article here. The zero fare bus service was slammed by Missouri riders and conductors as unreliable, filthy, rolling homeless shelters once federal funds dried up. Those are the words of people who rode the buses, not a political pundit here, not a politician, actual riders, okay? They said rolling homeless shelters. Duh. Now the man who called Kansas City a success was asking a simple question. Can New York actually afford this?
Can the city afford this right now with the federal cuts looming?
I think we absolutely can.
I think we absolutely can. Kansas City thought, we absolutely can afford it too. They estimated $8.8 million. They spent $15 million every year. They ended the program. Believe it or not, guys, I'm actually not shocked anymore. I gave up shock 3 mayors ago, Seattle, Chicago, New York. I'm just tired. I think we absolutely can. Guys, at least in my opinion, deserves a receipt staple to it. And the receipt, Kansas City, they just delivered it. Now let me show you what New York City's own accountants found. Not me, not Fox News. The New York City Independent Budget Office. They are the city's own math people, if you would, nonpartisan. They work for New York City. They ran the numbers on free buses. You wouldn't believe this, guys. Pop up the Washington Examiner article here. The headline reads, Mamdani's free buses would cost New Yorkers $1 billion annually. $1 billion annually. New York City taxpayers would just pay over $1.1 billion annually for Mayor Zohran Mamdani's quote-unquote free buses per New York City Independent Budget Office estimates. The new figure is a roughly $450 million annual markup from the IBO's original 2023 free bus estimate that Mamdani cited during the campaign trail. $450 million more than the number that he ran on every single year. And then the IBO said this, pop up the Washington Examiner article for me. The office also believes that 1.1 billion costs could increase year over year as the Metropolitan Transportation Authority purchases more buses, pays additional overtime, hires new bus operators, and recoups lost subway revenue from higher bus demand. So basically, it gets bigger every single year. More buses, more drivers, more overtime, bigger budget, bigger bill. This is exactly the same story as Kansas City. They estimate small. They set a small number. The real cost is significantly bigger. A lot bigger. And here's the part that should make your head hurt here. Mamdani couldn't find this money in a $124 billion budget. He asked Albany for it. The state budget was passed. No legislators in Albany included the proposal in the state's budget. Not one, you guys. In the entire state legislature, zero. So the buses aren't funded, not planned, not any budget at any level at all. Kansas City is going broke while the IBO was adding $450 million to the estimate, while Albany was saying no. The New York City bus system went in the complete opposite direction here. The fare enforcement crackdown. Zohran Mamdani promised free buses. New Yorkers are getting bus fare enforcement crackdowns instead. Not free. The exact opposite is free. Officers checking, cameras checking, fines for skipping a $2.90 fare. This is exactly the Mamdani bus story in 2026. He promised to remove fares. His city is now enforcing fares. So when a reporter asked him at this big February bus announcement, the one with the Bronx bus lane and the bike pass, what about the quote-unquote free part? And here's his answer.
What about the other half of that slogan, free buses? I wonder if the two of you can give an update, though, on what the conversations are like when you talk about the promise of free buses.
When we're talking about making buses free, the place of agreement that both MTA chair and myself have is that this is something that the MTA can only do when we ensure that we provide replacement revenue for what the MTA would make from the fare box.
Of course, key words here, replacement revenue. Let me walk you through what those two words actually mean calmly here, step by step. Replacement revenue means that you need to find money somewhere else first. Then we actually make it free. That is a completely different sentence than free buses. Free buses means you get on, there's no charge. There you go. Replacement revenue means we're working on finding where the cash is actually coming from for the things that we promised that we don't know if we can actually deliver on those promises. He changed the entire promise in one press conference and used the same calm voice to do it. And the MTA chair nodded like everything was fine. In Kansas City, the quote-unquote replacement revenue was AKA C-19 relief money. It ran out. The program ended. The fares, they came back. The only difference between New York City and Kansas City is that New York is still in the quote-unquote, we're working on it phase. Kansas City already lived through that part. And let me show you why this is not a bus story. The bus story is the symptom here. The disease is significantly bigger. Everything that Zohran Mamdani promised, the same thing happened to it over and over again. Prices go up, the delivery goes down. Let me walk you through it one by one here. He scaled back his original $100 billion affordable housing aspirations to $22 billion last month. Housing, he said $100 billion. He's going to deliver $22 billion. That is 22 cents on the dollar here. Mamdani's grocery store experiment is supposed to cost New Yorkers $70 million. The only problem, Mamdani's first two locations already cost the Big Apple $40 million. The EDC has not explained how it's going to cover operating costs here. Grocery stores, $70 million total budget, two locations, already $40 million. 3 boroughs left, no explanation on where the rest of the money's coming from. And this, $12 billion, the city's own projection for migrant costs by 2029. That money is already spoken for. It's already in the pipeline. It's already leaving out the door. And the bus math, free buses, $1.1 billion per year and growing. The migrant tab, $12 billion by 2029. Housing shortfall. Grocery stores overrun. Something has to give here. And what's given right now in New York City is the promise of free bus fare, which is why the system is now enforcing it.
While some critics don't seem to mind the idea of fast buses,
Nothing is free here, yeah?
the idea of free buses is triggering some rage.
Unless you find the money somewhere else. Great. Absolutely great. Where are they going to find the money? His plan was to tax millionaires, tax corporations, raise $9 billion through Albany to pay for his promises. Albany, they said no. The state budget passed. The taxes weren't in it. So the money doesn't even exist. The free buses don't exist. The crackdown is the current fare that does exist. The people who pay the gap every single morning are the working class New Yorkers that ride the BX33, waiting 25 minutes. In February, paying $2.90, being watched by a fare enforcement officer to make sure that they're paying the fees. People were promised free. People got enforced. My friends, every spending decision reveals the real priorities. Watch what got protected and watch what got cut. The sanctuary policies, they stayed. The $12 billion migrant tab stayed. The $165 million for illegal immigrant legal defense, that stayed. The free bus fare, that didn't make the budget. It is completely obvious that the working class bus riders are not at the top of his list, regardless on what he campaigned on. The receipts actually say so. So here's the thing that should embarrass everybody at that press conference. In May 2026, the same month, Politico reported he admitted free buses cannot happen in 2026 or 2028. Mamdani created a brand new government job. Senior advisor for fast and free buses. That's the job title here. That person has a salary. That person has a city email, a role in New York City government. Their entire job is to work on the free buses that aren't going to happen. The buses that won't be free in 2026 or 2028 by Zohran Mamdani's own admission. Trust me, you guys, the advisor is getting paid. The $2.90 is still $2.90 for bus riders.
How is he gonna go about the free buses?
So we're going to make buses fast and free. The city controls the streets in New York City. The state controls the MTA. So our jobs first is to make them fast. We've made more than 100,000 bus riders, commuters faster over these last 100 days. And we're working with the state to start to make those buses free.
Working with the state to make those buses free. Okay, let's get it. Somewhere in Albany, a state senator with a reserved parking space and car service who's not waiting for a city bus or has waited for a city bus for his entire adult life is deciding whether to approve taxes that would pay for Zohran Mamdani's promises. So far, that answer's no. And he drove to work this morning. New York, you got played again. Working class bus riders, you got played again. The working class riders who were promised on the campaign trail free buses, they're waiting. They're still waiting in the cold and still paying $2.90 with an enforcement officer watching to make sure that you're paying it. You played yourself, New York. America, two things before I go, and neither of these made anybody else's coverage. One, at the February MTA press conference, the big bus lane announcement, a reporter asked about a free bus pilot Mamdani had floated for the FIFA World Cup. The MTA chair's response on camera was two words here. No comment. It's what you get on a free bus idea at a bus press conference from the mayor who ran. Zohran Mamdani ran on free buses. 2, since Kansas City ended their program this month, Mamdani hasn't said anything about Kansas City or said Kansas City's name not once. The city he pointed to for 3 years is proof that the idea actually works. The city that is now charging fees. Again, the city proved that the math just don't math. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.